But honestly, hardly anybody was getting to see any of that. And so when I got into that, it was more about like, I'm just passionate about making things better, right? And making things like helping places to be utilized, helping businesses to be live up to their full potential.
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
Why do you think that out of the 500 millionaires we interview in this podcast, 1 out of 5 are related to property? They are the property investor, they have different strategies, they do warehouses, developments, RVs, caravans, everything related. Can you tell us the good, the bad, and the ugly? Because we don't want also to mislead the audience that people say, wow, doesn't matter what Harry said. We see every time real estate millionaire jump into a podcast. So I'm going to real estate. I'm going to make a lot of money. This is easy. So tell us your story between the business, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah, I think that real estate is a big business because it's a need that people are always going to have, and it's a need that your say gets constrained very quickly, right? So if in the RV park industry, for example, it is very, very to get an RV park through the city, the checkoffs by the city. It's very hard to get it zoned and get it licensed and all that stuff. And so there's a big constraint on the number of RV parks that can be started and built. It's also very expensive to build out the infrastructure for an RV park. And so, like, for instance, in my area, there are a handful of parks, but there's tens of thousands of people that have RVs. And so it's like that with anything. With commercial real estate, you're going to have some constraints around it because it takes time, it takes money, it takes a lot of effort and a lot of work to build that. And so it is just one of those industries that's always going to be difficult for people to sort of get into. So if you can get into it, you'll be doing well.
So let's talk about social responsibility, because it's not only about making money. So it's possible to do good and make money at the same time. I read that you have a part of Asian in the organization that help kids get out of poverty, which is something amazing, right? And it takes a entrepreneur. Okay, when in Diamond from the movie The Secret and my friend Lily, they launched a movement that called Global Conscious Entrepreneurs. So very close to that concept. Can you make money and do good at the same time? So where this sense of social responsibility came to you, like to be director of that organization, it takes a lot of time, effort, and energy. You could be doing more RV parks and make a lot of money. Maybe you can become a billionaire like my friend. So why do you choose this path?
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of different ways to make money, right? Real estate is a great one, just because it's something that keeps going and growing. The RV park that I have, we were able to buy it cheap. It was an existing park. We were able to buy it at about a third of the value.
Wow! Wow!
And we were able to buy it seller
impressive.
Finance. So the
wow, how you managed to do that?
Yeah, so the great thing about real estate, and specifically about RV parks, is that you can find a lot of people who are just ready to retire, right? And they need a little bit of retirement ongoing income, but they've owned these parks for a lot of years. And so in the United States in particular, we've got about 80% of RV parks are still owned by sort of the original owners, or the mom and pop owners. Most of those people are right at retirement age now. And so those people are looking to get out. And for many of them, their family is not really stepping in to fill the role. And so really, it came across my plate as an opportunity, and was able to get it at about a third value, was able to get the seller to finance it at 2.85% over 20 years. So I've got, next to free money for 20 years. And since we bought it 2.5 years ago, we've been able to more than double the revenue. And so,
Great. How you manage
yeah,
to do this? What
yeah.
happened? You
So,
build more units, you're bringing more people to rent it out, or why are you doing that?
yeah, bringing more people. Actually, the marketing, like I said, is in kind of a mom and pop industry, right? Where many of the sellers are, retirement age. My seller didn't have a website. He didn't have online bookings. We were able to implement a website and online bookings and raise it by like 30% immediately, just
Oh,
because people are looking to book online. Now, something like 70% of our bookings come through online channels. And so, just around marketing, some social media work, some Facebook ads, we put in one cabin, that cabin, sorry. And yeah, just basically tweaking what we already had there and cleaning it up and making it nicer.
mhm.
Really started people coming back and
That's what my
coming
friend
in
did.
more and more often.
Yeah, that's what my friend did. He actually built I think that over the United Kingdom we have a concept which is mobile homes, right? So
Mhm.
in that spaces you can build like a mobile home, right? With that right
Yep.
concept, as long as it doesn't have foundation, you can classify as a mobile home, and then we have a law there that give a lot of facility, and the people hasn't done in United Kingdom say, okay, you know what? I'm gonna sell my house for £600,000 or £700,000. I'm gonna take this money and go on holiday, and then I'm gonna buy a brand new mobile home in the park of France, which is it's a property that they can live comfortable. There are people on their age living in those facilities. The old caravans have been moved, and it's an affordable housing, if we might call it, and they loving it. Like I said, they have
Yep.
$1 billion
It is a
business
huge
out of this
industry.
concept. Out of this concept, yeah, he actually is in helicopter all over United Kingdom all the time with
Oh,
his
wow.
caravan parks, yeah, and he's a
It's a
personal
huge
friend,
industry.
yeah, yeah, personal friend, and very a guy that is with the very approachable, and we met him backstage, the Les Brown event in London, uh, 2018. I remember I was doing my speech was before Les Brown, and he spoke in the morning. Back then,
Nice.
he only worth 400,000. Can you believe that? So,
Only.
yeah, back then he was 400,000, and then time passed, COVID, whatever, blah blah. Then when we meet again, it's 1 billion. I'm like, wow, man, what happened?
What
Which is
changed?
interesting. So, great. The next question is, what are the biggest challenge you have growing your business, and how you overcome that challenge?
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge for me has been not to take on too much at one time. Um, I feel like I have a high capacity, right? I can do a bunch of things, and I can shift between things. But if you kind of like I said in my opening remarks, that if you take on everything yourself and you don't sort of farm it out, you don't have AI, you don't have administrative assistants, you don't have management and things like that in place, then you can very quickly get overwhelmed, and tied up from starting the next thing.
Let's talk about the serial entrepreneur, because sometimes we have the project and we have the passion project. Yeah, I'm telling you, my
Yeah.
first business wasn't really. Yeah, I managed to sell over 5 million doing that in London, and but my passion has always been, the helping people, empowering people, and then we have this organization, speakers and leaders, who speak all over the world. We train people and how to speaking and how to people. I love these things. I'm really passionate about it. Yeah, I don't know if I do the workshop for them or for me. Every time that I do it, I get out of that so pop up. I don't know
Yeah.
if I don't know anymore if I do it for them or for me. It's they also get high up, and we have amazing experience doing this workshop in international Singapore, Dubai, Mexico, Peru, United States, and of course in London, United Kingdom. So, but it took a while to this business to off. beat that international brand. However, our property business was solid. Okay.
Mm.
So my view is you have two business, the counseling and the so which one is the money project, which one the passion project, and both money project and both passion projects. How you define that? I actually very happy with property. I love it. Look, now you told me this, I'm excited. I love property because that was my first business. And at the beginning, to be honest with you, I did it for the money. A friend came to me and told me, "Look, you want to make money? Let's do this property thing." He showed me a couple of things. Then I read the book of Roy Kiyosaki and said, I'm gonna go for it because I need money. Down the line, you realize that okay, it was no, yeah, I did it for the money, but after a while you warm up to it, we escalate this business finally. But I still also a lot of people in property. I talk a lot about property. I understand 100% what you describe. So tell us about your process, the business that you own, and both of the money, passion, or a mix of both.
Yeah, the practice. So I have a master's in counseling psychology, and thought I would be a therapist for my whole life, right? And then about 10 years ago, I sort of stepped out of doing therapy at all, to do more ministry, more mission work, to help people around the world. Really, that's where my passion lies, is helping people. So I would say the counseling practice, it was started because I needed some additional income, because ministry and missions and things like that doesn't pay. But then we sort of locked in on the niche that we do marriage counseling primarily. And so I began to see my counselors, my therapists that work for me, began to see them as these like ambassadors that are going into people's lives and families and that are making a big impact, right? So I get to see that from afar because I'm not doing it directly. But there's a passion for helping people that scratches that itch a little bit too, as well as the money. And then the RV park, getting into that was honestly, it was because it was underutilized.
I love it.
It's been one of the any business I go into, whether it's a restaurant down the street or a warehouse somewhere, whatever it is, I begin to look around and begin to see like, if they did this a little different, it would make processes more efficient. If they did that a little different, they could increase their prices, those kinds of things. And so with the RV park, really, I looked at it and I thought, man, hardly anybody's getting to experience this place. It's beautiful. It's on a big fishing lake. It's got a swimming pool. There's a big pavilion for, wedding rentals and stuff. But honestly, hardly anybody was getting to see any of that. And so when I got into that, it was more about like, I'm just passionate about making things better, right? And making things like helping places to be utilized, helping businesses to be.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.